Hello and welcome to this incredibly unprepared show, episode 19 of Inside the Video Store. Yeah, just this week has gone, last week has gone, and everything has just crept upon me, and we have loads to talk about. So we're gonna have to fly through things and try and keep this to around about 45 minutes if we can, because that is kind of peak viewing time. I think any longer tend to get a bit boring. So. It's been a crazy week in the store, one of the busiest weeks we've had in probably 7 or 8 years. I've got more films out on loan at the moment than I've had in a decade. And yeah, it's just absolutely crazy, but no time to catch up. Hence why it's a bit of a mess. Last week's new arrivals are still on the counter. Haven't had time to put them away. But yeah, I'm not complaining at all. It's a very good thing. Let's go through this week's new releases anyway. New in, we have Civil War, which was directed by Alex Garland. I think he directed The Beach, didn't he? Fairly big film, this, to be honest. A24, isn't it? And quite surprising to see it distributed by Entertainment and Video, the old stoic label from the UK there, which is surprising. I thought a more trendy label would have got hold of this, but still, never mind. Looks interesting. I don't know whether it's my cup of tea, but it does look like an interesting film, quite politically loaded, so it might be worth a look, to be honest, so I might give that one a go at some point. But yeah, good to see that one coming in. Secondly, we have Challenges has arrived in the new film from, here we go, Luca Guadagnino. I do like his films. Call Me By Your Name was absolutely fantastic. The film he did with Tilda Swinton, which was I Am Love. Yeah, that was a great film as well. Really did like that one. And by all accounts, Challenges is quite something. I know a few people who went to see it at the cinema and they absolutely loved it. Some went back repeatedly. So it should be great to finally watch it on home video. Got this one in on DVD and Blu-ray, although I don't know, it might have changed, but it looks like HMV had the Blu-ray exclusivity with this, which is interesting because I don't recall that happening too often. But yeah, very cool. Looking forward to watching that a great deal. So there's Challenges in this week. New Criterion release, which is very, very exciting. Certainly one of the most requested films here at Snips, which is Le Samurai, a film by Jean-Pierre Melville. Got a Melville section up here. Don't know if you can see it. No, it's just above the camera. Which is just gonna believe me, trust me, it's up there. And this one's been conspicuously absent for quite some time, but now Criterion have put it out on a dual format Blu-ray and 4K UHD. And it should be quite something. I haven't seen it, but I can't wait to see it. I've heard it's quite a spectacular film. Starring, of course, Alain Delon. And yeah, this should be absolutely fantastic. It's a great addition as well, but missing a commentary, which is surprising, but that's a shame. But there's plenty of other stuff on there as well. But yeah, Le Samurai is now available to rent. Finally, a month after ordering it, came Vision Quest. Really glad to see this one come in. It's a film by Harold Becker, starring Matthew Modine, of course, and Linda Fiorentino, about a high school wrestler. A couple of customers are sort of milling around the counter with this, and rightly so. Glad that they can finally get their paws on it. But it's a weird thing with Warner Archive at the moment. I don't get their UK distribution at all. The double set I ordered after this, which was a Cagney film and something else, is still waiting to be shipped. They reckon it's going to ship at the end of July now. So I thought, right, that's it, I'm done with Amazon. Let's order direct from Warner's. Ordered the latest two direct from Warner's, which are meant to be in today. Action J. I haven't been drinking. Action, that one with Carl Weathers, and also Ice Pirates, wasn't it? Both meant to be out this week. Ordered them last week. They got shipped on Friday. Here we're on Wednesday. No sign of them, which is really annoying. You know, when you think Warner Brothers should be shipping surely first class when you're spending 30 quid. So that's a bit disappointing to have to wait that long. I guess they're probably coming from distribution, would they be? Maybe in Poland. So that might be adding to the shipping time, but still a bit annoying. But generally speaking, Warner Archive UK seem to be all over the place with getting stuff in to the destinations on time. But there we go. Yeah, so that's this week's newbies. Have a quick look at what's on loan, shall we? Like I say, it was a wealth of stuff coming in, going out rather this week, because yeah, it's just nutty. As I say, we won this Best Independent Business thing in the local paper, and in tandem with that, they put in an article, an interview with me in the local paper on the Saturday morning, and that just lit a fuse, really. So all day Saturday, I had people that hadn't been in for a long time. Some customers that hadn't been in for over a decade decided to come back and have a nose. Some customers hadn't been in at all, so they're coming in for the first time. I even got the situation where the box that you take home, you know, the Snips branded box that you take home, I'd run out of those by Saturday night. I was panicking like mad, thinking, you know, I can't give films out in blank boxes. So I've had to run to the printers today to get some more printed up, which is crazy because, you know, I printed the original sleeve and thought, when I put in the print order, I thought, well, it's stupid getting this many because that many films aren't going to go out. I've not been back to the printers once, but I've been back to the printers twice, which is just bananas. So yeah, that's very, very good news. Hopefully they stick around. Hopefully they like what they see. Hopefully they can get into the habit of renting one more time. But yeah, well, we'll see. It's good. It's good anyway. It's good. So yeah, I just quickly grabbed these, the first ones that I could see that are on loan. All really great picks in my estimation. We had the Spiral Staircase, which has not been out on loan for a long time. Robert Siodmak's film with Dorothy McGuire and George Brent. Classic horror movie. Mark rented this, so I'm looking forward to what he thinks of it. I have every expectation that he will think it's wonderful. Goodbye Uncle Tom, I rented again, which is good to see. I don't know what Matt will think about it, but he's a very interesting gentleman with very forthright opinions, which I like, and I'm sure he will deliver a summary which will be quite interesting to hear when he brings it back in a week or so. But yeah, fascinating film, but I'm glad to see that people are dipping their toe into that and kind of, you know, reluctantly but intriguingly seeing what it's about. James came in this week and kind of said he's desperate to get into the video nasty thing. He's never seen a video nasty. Kind of wanted to know where to begin with the whole journey. And I didn't know, really. I'd never been asked that question before. I thought, well, what you can do, James, say you could see Mark Morris's documentary, which is very cool. Video Nasty's part 1 or 2, but it's 6 hours. You might not have that amount of time. So I gave him Censor, which he's seen before. The bonus disc has, of course, the classic original documentary, Ban the Sadist videos. So I thought, well, watch Ban the Sadist videos. This will kind of get you in the mood for what you might want to see. There's some clips in there, so it might give you some indication of what direction you might fancy going. And I thought, well, to be on your way, maybe rent Absurd. It's not the best, but it's a good example of the style of movie that the BBFC wanted to or did ban back in the 80s. So I thought that was a good introduction for him. Tony didn't have much time. He thought I'd just have one rental this week. He went for Dunwich Horror, which is a great little horror film, isn't it? By, of course, the late, great Roger Corman on producing duties, and written by Curtis Hanson of LA Confidential. His first screenplay, I think. But yeah, I do like that film. Kind of a horror that's not too intense, but just genuinely creepy. Had a new member yesterday. Renting some classy films, and you can't get classier than this. Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which I absolutely love. We featured one of John Cameron Mitchell's films a few weeks back, didn't we? Which was Short Bus, which just is perfection, cinematic perfection. And this isn't far off either. Hedwig and the Angry, love this film, and this edition from Criterion is just, it's lavish, isn't it, with some amazing artwork. But yeah, absolutely stupendous. So I hope, I forgot to ask if they've seen it before, but either way, it's a great selection. Suburbia rented out Richard Linklater's film. Richard Linklater's section is pretty busy in here, most of the year, to be honest. And Suburbia was one of the films I didn't have in it. Written, of course, by Eric Bogosian. It's a great film, but for some reason it's never seen a UK show since the days of VHS. Madness. But here it is anyway. And it's out on loan, which is cool. This is an interesting one that Kai took. Ken Park. It's a difficult film to recommend. Even when he was taking it, I recommended it to him, gushingly. And then I realised what I'd said. I thought, it's kind of renting the unrentable, isn't it? A film like Irreversible that you can't really recommend, but you can recommend because it's good, but you can't recommend it because it's a bit, I do like this film a great deal. I like Larry Clark, even though he's a very problematic individual. But this is great. I think, doesn't the story go that Tartan were due to release this, or at least show it theatrically at some point, but then Larry Clark gave Hamish McAlpine, the owner of Tartan, a left hook, thus cancelling any chances of distribution. But yeah, it's a very interesting film, and never been released in this country, so this is the Netherlands, the Dutch edition. So interesting to see what he thinks of that. And finally, some classic Audrey Hepburn, which I love. Wait Until Dark is a very, very good film by Terence Young. It's quite chilling, to be honest. It is a very tense little movie. But yeah, as always, it's great to see classic films like this renting out, which is cool. So they are a couple of on loan films. Now we've got a choice. Now we've got two what's in the box. Well, no, we got what's in the box, or we got what's in the bag. What's in the box is a few deliveries that have come in this week, or lots of deliveries that have come in this week of new stuff, new arrivals. Or what's in the bag is literally someone came in with a bin bag of DVDs this week, and I haven't opened it. I saved it. I thought, well, I'll open it on camera and then just kind of gauge the bizarre things that people bring in to donate. I know a few of you found the last donation video quite interesting. So, So what should we look at? Okay, well, quickly, we'll go through the new arrivals. I have to go through this very speedily, because we're already going about 15 minutes or so. Melusine.com orders came in. Obviously, Melusine.com is the porno arm of Vinegar Syndrome, and obviously I cannot rent their films at any cost, as I will be prosecuted under the blah 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 act, whatever it is. Anyway, teeny buns. Anyone interested in some teeny buns? I don't know whether they're teeny buns, as in buns that you eat, or whether they're teeny buns of another kind. But anyway, we have Teeny Buns in, which is a film directed by I forget who did these. Anyway, it's paired with Spirit of 76. Stu Seagal. Of course, Stu Seagal, as you know, crazy individual. He, of course, most famously directed Drive-In Massacre, didn't he? And then a couple of years after that, he created one of the biggest, not one of the biggest, but one of the most iconic TV shows of the 80s. He created Silk Stockings. But yeah, so we have a double bill, Spirit of 76 and Teeny Buns. Also from Melusine.com, we have another film from the great Chuck Vincent. This time it's Misbehavin', which is kind of one of his first blockbusters by all accounts. But I'm a massive Chuck Vincent fan. He's an absolute icon. So cool to have those in. Import from Germany we have here. A couple of imports from Germany. We have a Sammy Davis Jr. and a Peter Lawford film, Salt and Pepper. Don't know what to make of this. I don't think it's one of their most acclaimed films, but it is directed by Richard Donner. of Lethal Weapon fame. So, it's certainly an interesting curio to stick in our import section there. So that's Salt and Pepper with Sammy Davis Jr. and Peter Lawford. This was recommended. I know it's been on Shudder for some time. Excuse me, indigestion. The Mortuary. I think it's called The Mortuary something on Shudder, wasn't it? Anyway, it's kind of an anthology thing presented by Clancy Brown. I rented it this week. I saw it. I quite liked it. Some of the segments are really, really effective. So yeah, this was quite a pleasant surprise to me. I was going to have some great practical effects in there. So that's The Mortuary. But like I say, I don't like streaming. The fact that anything can disappear without notice. So if something's good, I always try and buy a hard copy of it. Speaking of hard copies of things on streaming sites, I mean, think about all these Tubi originals. Think about all these Tubi originals not coming out on hard copy. It's just, it fills me with dread, the idea that these films just kind of sit there and could disappear. So anyway, I decided to buy the newish Asylum movie, Titanic 666. It's alright, it's good fun, you know what you're going to get. But yeah, this was made for Tubi by the Asylum. And it's not bad, but I just wanted to get it on hard copy because at least then I have it. So if Tubi eventually, disappears at the whim of Fox, I mean, who could trust anything that Fox owns? Then at least I've got a hard copy of Titanic 666, which, quite frankly, what more could you want? Now, I mentioned this the other week. This was that Jerry Lewis box set that I was after. And lo and behold, here it is. It was quite a bargain, to be honest. I'm surprised that it made it from Germany in a flimsy Amazon envelope in one piece, which is a real surprise. But here it is, and it is in one piece. 16 film collection, 16 discs as well, which is great. And all the discs, despite all the back obviously being in German, all the discs are in English on the front. So it's a bit manic, a bit of a manic set. You get two discs on one spindle there, one disc on one spindle there, one disc, two discs, and that kind of thing. But anyway, so you got a nice assortment of Jerry Lewis films: Geisha Boy, the Disorderly Orderly, the Bellboy, the Errand Boy, lots of boys, the Family Jewels. So yeah, it's pretty cool. The Patsy. What we got under here? Ladies' Man. But for 16 Jerry Lewis films, I think it works out about £2.50 per disc. You can't refuse that, really, can you? And I've got an instant Jerry Lewis collection, which I'm quite pleased about, really. That's all my MVD stuff from last week, so they can go back there. A few little bits of interest that came in. But after having this one for a while, Steve Martin, I saw the recent documentary that Steve Martin did on himself, which was, well, he didn't do it on himself, but someone else did it for him, but he was in it because it's about himself. Steve, I think, in two parts on Apple, and it was excellent, and it reminded you how many great films Steve Martin has done. Got all of them aside from Pennies from Heaven, which has always been a bit of a tricky one to get, but I got the Warner Archive collection edition. And quite frankly, if you want to see, if you have any inclination, if you have no inclination of seeing this, then I would ask you to stop for a second and just say that Christopher Walken delivers the best dance routine you have ever seen him do in this film. It is mesmeric, and it's worth watching this film just for that Walken dance sequence. It really is. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Dennis Potter, and I've got Dennis Potter's TV version of Pennies from Heaven as well, which is fantastic. I've got a Dennis Potter section. Who knew? Black Moon Rising came in. A customer came in for it during the week. It's one of those where you kind of go to the Arrow section and you think, oh yeah, it's just one of those Arrow video releases that I missed out on. But thankfully it wasn't too expensive. Ollie Coakless, and starring Tommy Lee Jones, from a script by John Carpenter. A couple of you may have seen on Twitter. Well, let me go and get it. Don't go away. Yeah, that I had a really crappy eBay encounter whereby someone sent me a disc of Sonatine, the Beat Takashi film. Well, you can see the difference. Quite stark. You know, the water damage to the sleeve was ridiculous. I said it wasn't very good. The water damage was ridiculous. And then you can see it on the inside as well. And the disc itself, you won't be able to see that because of the lights. But the disc itself was absolutely hammered. So, you know, that can go in the bin. But thankfully, straightforward refund, and I got a replacement from another seller, which was cheaper. So in the long run, fantastic. We're quids in. A couple of the bits came in. Like I said the other week, I've been clearing all my wish lists. So I've got Detour with Jeff Fahey, Michael Madsen and Gary Busey, directed by Joey Travolta, no less. Had that one in my basket for a while. Another sci-fi movie, one of the films from Ken Badouche and his Active Entertainment label, is Ghostquake with Danny Trejo. Someone recommended that to me, I think, on this show. So if it was you, thank you very much. I've now got my own copy. This cost a fortune, but I managed to get it for a better price than originally quoted, and that's Captain Ron. Someone asked for that quite recently, and yeah, it's one of those that has just kind of been deleted. So pleased to have a copy of that finally, with the great Martin Short. Quite possibly the worst DVD sleeve I've ever encountered in my life. It looks like it's been done on a home PC with the most rudimentary clip art style platform, and it's the winner. It's Alex Cox's film. Alex Cox is really, really poorly represented on home media in this country, which is particularly frustrating because he was born a couple of miles down the road. But yeah, the winner. But after a full while, great cast. Michael Madsen again, Vincent D'Onofrio, Billy Bob Thornton, Rebecca De Mornay. I just hope the disc is a better quality on the sleeve, because that is a shocker, absolute shocker. Finally, I thought, not finally actually, I thought I might have a little go at maybe creating a section of box office disasters that are still worth a look in some capacity. So I thought, Town and Country, didn't have this, always wanted it, because it was such a massive flop, wasn't it? And yeah, so I thought, have a go, and take a look at Town and Country one more time. More Warner Archive came in. This Danny Kaye collection, which looked like it was going to go out of print. The Goldwyn Years, which are a nice 4-movie collection on 4 individual discs, and it's all press copies, not DVD-Rs. So really cool to have that one. I saw one of them myself at the weekend, which was, I don't know, the one where he was a boxer. Which one is it? It's the Kid from Brooklyn, isn't it? Yeah, Kid from Brooklyn. And it was great. Really enjoyed it. Really light. It's on a Sunday morning, just kind of perfect Sunday morning entertainment. Oh, Full Moon sale, 4th of July sale. A lot came in, which includes a bit of a giallo. Sergio Martino's The Scorpion with Two Tails, which no UK release at this moment in time, so just kind of go with that. 2 lesser Jess Franco films. One of those he only directed part of. But nevertheless, we have The Countdown to Esmeralda Bay, and also Angel of Death, which is the one I think he walked away from at some point. Yes, it was completed by Andrea Bianchi, who of course did Burial Ground, Nights of Terror. But they were cheap, so it's another couple of notches on the Jess Franco bedpost. 2 Jim Wynorski films that he did for Full Moon. We have Giantess Battle Attack and also Attack of the 50-Foot Cam Girl. Both great fun. I saw them on the streaming site. And finally we have some David Dakota that I didn't have in. One of which is Morgana with Julie Strain, the great Julie Strain, and also is Dakota's first feature film, and one of his best, to be honest. Just a shame that this edition, I haven't seen this edition, but I know for a fact it's absolutely shocking. I think it's a VHS transfer, and it's just a shocking quality. But nevertheless, at least it's there. So if it never comes out in any other format, at least I have a hard copy of some kind. But yeah, Dreamaniac, legendary in the Dakota universe. And there it is. So that's those. I'm quickly going to go over here to grab some posts that came today. And we had the Vinegar Syndrome, a monthly doings. What do we got here? If ever anything goes wrong, I might set up an elastic band factory, elastic band retailing outlet. People just come in and buy elastic bands, because I have more elastic bands than you would ever know what to do with. Yeah, okay, here's some interesting ones we have. I mentioned about watching on Twitter the other day the Dan Aykroyd film, The Devil and Daniel Webster, the Alec Baldwin directed movie that came in last week, which has been retitled as something else. It's been retitled Shortcut to Happiness. And someone commented about, it's Ben Stoddard, who of course is the ops manager at BFI. He said that he hadn't seen Dan Aykroyd in The House of Mirth until recently. And of course, the great Terence Davis, brilliant local filmmaker, died quite recently, and this was one of his films I didn't have, so great to get The House of Mirth in there. I saw this when it first came out on VHS, and for some reason it's passed me by ever since. We have Best Laid Plans, which I think, if I remember rightly, was a half-decent little thriller, so I thought, yeah, for a couple of quid we can get that one into the shop as well. What have we got here? Oh, Two Blues. Here we are. Ice Pirates, Warner Archive. Finally. Where did it come from? Oh, that says Warwickshire. Ice Pirates, the new film. New release in the UK from Warner Archive is finally in. Looking forward to that. Never seen it, but a few people are really excited to watch it. Action Jackson, I had on a US import on DVD here anyway, but it's such a quality film, isn't it? I had to upgrade to Blu-ray. And, the late Carl Weathers, what a star. So really cool to finally have that one in stock. It's very exciting indeed. Very exciting indeed. Okie dokie. Stuff that down there. Open this. Could do with some scissors. Let's have a look. Vinegar Syndrome. Now, I'm going to be quite frank about this. I'm going to be quite honest. This month, I signed up, of course, for the subscriber package. And I really wasn't that enamoured by this month's releases. Which is a terrible thing to say, because they are doing some fantastic work and releasing some amazing films. But just like when the July releases dropped, I kind of went, that's nice. Because they were fine. They were fine. Other months are going to absolutely just make me throw foam at the mouth in absolute joy and ecstasy. But this month it was kind of like, yeah, that's all right. Anyway, on that downer, let's see what we got. Let's have a look. Sorry. I guess I should try and feign some excitement for this. I've completely forgotten what's in here actually, so you never know. I might be surprised. But yeah, this new deal of Vinegar Syndrome I've got with DHL, I think it is, it's just stupid. Absolutely stupid. I think DHL sent these 2 days ago, 48 hours ago, and it's here already. Absolutely crazy. But hey. Oh, no. There is some cool stuff in here. Let me take that back. Let's have a look. Right, what do we got? This month's Vinegar Syndrome order. We have Intrepidos Punks and Vengeance of the Punks, which I think is a Mexican double bill, isn't it? Let's just have a quick read of the back. This is the worst thing about opening post live, in that I have no idea what I'm talking about. But then again, when do I have any idea what I'm talking about? From the weirdest depths of Mexico's genre cinema scene come two of the most infamous punksploitation classics of the 80s. These do sound pretty cool, to be honest. Region free as well, so I can stick that on the shelf, and hopefully people will get a kick out of those. Next up, this is exciting. It's another one of the Trauma acquisitions from Vinegar Syndrome. I love that artwork. They Call Me Macho Woman. I had this on DVD for about 10 to 15 years. I don't think anyone has ever rented it. But hey, hopefully they will now, because it's a great film and it deserves to be looked at. So yeah, that's very cool. Now this sounds really interesting. It's called Blood Cult, and it's billed as the first movie made for the home video market. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Either way, it's a region-free horror movie, 85. Yeah, it's the first collaboration between Christopher and Linda Lewis, husband and wife directing, producing duo. Forgot the other couple of films they did. I think Arrow put them out, didn't they? But nevertheless, it looks like a really cool slasher, and this one is out courtesy of Vinegar Syndrome spin-off label, which is Degocier Video. Yeah, this one I do not know. Chinese Torture Chamber. It's a Cat 3 film, is it? Yeah, it is. Yeah. It does sound really interesting, to be honest. I'm so quickly backtracking on my initial despair. But yeah, Chinese Torture Chamber, part 1 and 2. So yeah, that's a great film, isn't it? Great addition. Reptilicus. I mean, you can't say no to Reptilicus, can you? Gorgeous box. The only hassle is that's got a region A locked blue. Don't know why. Someone must be working on it over here, maybe, but at least the 4K disc in here is region free. And just how wacky to have Reptilicus on 4K UHD, which is absolutely bananas. There we are. Penultimately, we have 8 Eyes, which I think is the first Vinegar Syndrome production. Is it not? Yes, it is. Executive producers Joe Rubin, Ryan Emerson, etc., etc. Yeah, interesting. I think it played the festival circuit. Kind of got a Euro horror vibe. Is it region free? It is region free. So yeah, that's quite an interesting little release. Obviously, open to interpretation whether Vinegar Syndrome should be spending money on original features, but why not? Why not? Especially with something quite interesting. And finally, we have Amanda and the Alien, which looks like a truly odd thing. Yeah, if Clueless was zapped into a movie where Gen X icon Nicole Eggert falls in love with a body-snatching extraterrestrial, it still wouldn't be enough to describe the mind-warping charm of Amanda and the Alien. This was a Showtime original back in 1995. Looks very cool indeed. So that's Vinegar Syndrome. Excellent. Okay. Rabbiting far too quickly. I wanted to show you this bag, didn't I? I was going to show you this bag. Honestly, you won't believe this. Oh! There is the bag. So, I dread to think what's in here. Like I say, I haven't looked, just pretend it's Christmas. So just a taster, making Spider-Man. Yeah. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Once More with Feeling, Batman Begins. Random bathroom bag. You never know. What else have we got? Random pair of 3D glasses. Individual Stargate disc. Team Up 1 and 2. Dogma. Sadly not on Blu-ray. Predator, Punisher. But yeah, most of these will be recycled. I use them for the starting with law at the Open University. Handy. Most of these I will use for the cases. Recycle the cases, get them used. Except stuff like this. I mean, Battlestar Galactica Complete Series. Battered. But still, like I say, most of these boxes will come in handy. A weird selection of stuff. Do you remember buying the originals? How many volumes of Stargate SG-1 were there? I mean, that's 16 quid at the time, and you got 4 episodes. When you think, you kind of expect to pay 16 quid for a full series nowadays, don't you? And we think we're being overcharged. But yeah, it's crazy what we lived with. Next, Twilight Saga, Hancock, Riddick. Just the standard kind of stuff, isn't it, really? But that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So yeah, we'll have a better dip through that over the weekend, hopefully, and sort some boxes out for my replacement. As for the vanity bag, I don't really know. So yeah, jury's out on that. Right, let's quickly strip through some comments. What do we got here? Comments from last week's video. We have Rob String, who's away. Rob's killing me this week. Rob is killing me this week. He is going to the archive, the Vinegar Syndrome archive. He's going to the archive this week in America because a band he's involved with is playing over there. And yeah, just the envy of that is too much to contain. But never mind. I hope he has a great time. Yeah, Fumble says John Alderman is in the bonus feature on Death Game from Grindhouse Releasing. Little Miss Innocence. I love Little Miss Innocence. It's one of his best films. And yeah, so good. And yes, he is also in Dirty Dolls from the Agfa label. Yeah, Fumble says he has credits in X-rated films. I imagine he was just an actor in said films, not true. Yes, John Alderman was only kind of like the he's only an actor in the XXX films of Gary Graver. He wasn't a performer, so it was just kind of just speaking roles. He did nothing more, but a great actor. Who we got? M62 Film says the only thing I recall from Henry II was thinking, who is wearing the Mask of Sanity? The whole thing was crazy. Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I must try and get around to that. Paul Berryman says, yeah, he appreciates the films from the 90s with the big casts too. They were absolutely fantastic. Oh, and he also says that Wake and Fright has a new 4K restoration coming soon. So that should be really interesting, shouldn't it? I look forward to that. The Don't Tell Show says, when I was in my early teens, me and my friends used to go to the HMV every time we were in York just to see if the Vampiros Lesbos soundtrack was still there. This is a great story. It just made us chuckle. Just the title made us chuckle. A few years later, it was still there, so we chipped in and bought it, which was £22 back in 1995. I loved it, and suddenly it wasn't a joke to me. Plus, nobody else liked it, so I got to keep it. A year after that, one of the friends who bought it with me, and then disowned it, found himself drinking with Liam Gallagher in a VIP room after a gig when Noel Gallagher walks in with a CD with it in his hand. Noel Gallagher hands the CD to the DJ, who instantly stops what he's playing and obliges to play the CD he's been given, as this was at the height of Oasis's fame. Can you guess what that CD was? Yes, it was Vampiros Lesbos. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Let's have a look. Terry Uller says, as you mentioned, the discs are in the cases. Yes, every disc that you can see behind me, well, every box in the shop is in the case. So makes for simplicity. There we go, Oily Maniac. But Terry does say, how do you know where everything is? I just do, most of the time. But you know, if you speak to some of my customers, that more frequently, more than ever now, there are occasions where they will ask me for something and I'll have to check 4 different places before I eventually find it. Like say someone asked for Grabbers recently, the Irish creature feature, which is great fun. But first I'll check maybe the horror section, not there. Then maybe I'll check the British horror section, not there. Then maybe the indie section, not there. Then sci-fi, it's in the sci-fi. So you will find it's a process. Most things I can go immediately to, but some things they do take a little while for my aging brain to click in and to work out where I could have put them. But in the main, we do all right. Just the only hassle is when we're busy, it is pretty tricky to find things immediately, especially if you've got a few people milling around the counter. Lee Mann says he really likes Henry II, Mask of Sanity. It's well worth a look for anyone who likes the original. I also picked up Suburban Commando and Mr. Nanny in a double pack from Alibris for about £8. Sadly, though, as Lee confirmed, they are region locked. So it looks like if I want that pair, I'll have to fork out for the Aussie discs. Dean Everest commented for the first time this week. He said it was interesting about obviously the theft angle from the shop, and the theft thankfully isn't really an issue. There are maybe a handful of films each year that just don't come back, but that's not through theft. It's through people just being absent-minded. If it was through theft, I'm sure they would try and steal something more financially lucrative than Taken 2. However, Dean asks another question. He says, previously you needed to have a specific rental version, and some discs state not for rental. Have you ever had the boys in blue come knocking on the door? No, the boys in blue don't come knocking on the door for me renting a not for rental film, simply because we're in a situation where the films that we got, the discs that we got 20 years ago, rental copies, some of them they're deteriorating. They've been out that many times. So when you replace them like for like, you can't get a brand new rental copy now, so you have to buy a not for rental copy, a straightforward retail copy. So unfortunately, the only way to change discs, is to get a not for rental. And to be honest, there's two of us left in the country. No one really gives a toss. So that's fine. Although back in the day, when you used to get the phone number coming up at the start of the film. Have you rented? This film is not for rental. Have you rented this? Phone this number. I do remember one of my local video shops here being prosecuted by Fox. Just crazy, isn't it? Imagine that being done today for renting a copy of, I think it was Just Married on DVD. That was a not for rental copy. That was a retail copy. The Ashton Kutcher film. Crazy days. But now, thankfully, everything is far more sane. Deluxe Man Dave says, because of you, I've just spent £40 at MVD. I'm sorry about that. But you'll thank me in the end. And Sean says, has the store ever always been in the location it is now? Yes, it has. We've been here since 1976. And hopefully here for a few more years. And also thanks to Franco Esque, who recommended a handful of Jess Franco films for me to be going on with. That is it. A quick story to do. I'm going to have to walk across the camera and be deeply unprofessional. Yeah. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Yes, I have gone mad. We'll do a bit of a sleeping giant. If you look on my database, which you can access via the Instagram page and the Facebook page, you will, if you filter it by format, you'll see that there are 235 VHS tapes listed. I was clearing out part of my house, and under the stairs I had 235 VHS tapes that I was using to write a book that I'm doing at the moment, which is about the forgotten films of the 90s rental era. Kind of those films that came out on video, but we haven't seen anything of them since, which is nutty. But there's thousands from that era that we've never seen since. Anyway, those films are there. I kind of thought, well, what's the point in being there? In a cupboard that I can't access because there's furniture in front of it. So I thought, well, let me take them into work. Put them on a database. Then at least I know what I've got. I doubt anyone in their right mind would want to rent them. But I thought, well, I'll keep them in the shop, so at least they're here. And I can gradually add to it. Because it's about preservation, isn't it? Some of these films will never see any other format, ever. Streaming included. So it's about having a physical copy of those films. So even if it's on VHS, then that's fine. And I have a new TV at home, which has 4 HDMIs. So I managed to hook up my VHS player to my TV. So I don't need to unplug and plug all the time. I can just switch the VHS player on and it plays. So that's a big thing. So I can start watching a few VHS now from time to time, which is really, really cool. I hate the format, but I like the format. I hate the fact that it deteriorates so quickly, mold and all that kind of thing, but I love it because I can remember that where I was and what I was doing when I watched all of these films, which I hate nostalgia, but in an ironic way, I kind of like holding these and the way that they were, because they're so tangible. There's something about them, isn't it? Anyway, 3 quick films that aren't streaming that are all mega and only on VHS. Certainly in this country, I think 1 or 2 of these have appeared on Region 1 DVD, but they're just cool. They're just cool films. I love this film, Little Witches. It's such a blatant rip-off of The Craft. I interviewed the person who wrote it a couple of years back. If you go to our website, theschlockpit.com, there's a great interview with him about the making of Little Witches. It's a really exploitative film with some gratuitous nudity, but it's kind of something good about it, something nice about it that represents the 90s. So yeah, my first pick on the Sleeping Giants for this week is Little Witches, which I have a very, very soft spot for. Second pick, but Luke Perry. Shannon Doherty died this week, didn't she? Of course, really sad news at the age of 53. And of course, it reminded me that we lost Luke Perry quite a few years back as well. He starred in some really great films, and I like this, Life Breath. It's a really cool murder mystery. He's great in it. You got Lisa Gay Hamilton, David Margulies, Matt McGrath, directed by PJ Posner. And it's just a great direct-to-video film of the kind that we no longer see. That's Life Breath. I love the artwork as well. It's so vivid, isn't it? And finally, another one of those films I remember exactly where I was when I saw it. I really like it. It's a great combo between Michael Madsen and Helen Slater. House in the Hills. It's just a great thriller with Madsen doing the kind of role that he was good at before he went off and did 300 films a year. Directed by Ken Wiederhorn, who of course made Shockwaves. It's just a really, really cool film. I love the artwork. It was so... that's not even Madsen, is it? But it was so... Yeah, just epitomised that decade of the 90s, and these films that have since vanished off the face of the earth, but so cool. So yeah, that's my 3 picks for Sleeping Giants. I hope I haven't rushed everything too much, which I know I have, but alas, I don't want to be in your ear all evening or daytime, whichever time you're watching it. But yeah, that is it from me for today. Thank you very much for watching. As usual, follow us at the usual places and subscribe to the channel if you can. That's it for now, and I'll see you hopefully with a more sedate and relaxed show in 7 days' time.